Africa for 5 years. So I'm also I'm very glad to be back to this international family to work to work with friends again and share us our knowledges and experience. Night I just attended the UNFCCC COP26. There's oh, so there's a UN global innovation hub talk about how we can solve the international these knowledge exchange projects with more having more platform and having more technologies, how we can work together globally, and then using these all these now digital technologies that to help country to achieve these carbon neutral goals. So I think that that's very inspiring target signal that also let us to purchase the same goal, even we are in the different country, different region, and also I think now these technologies are available and also feasible to make these things happen. So I might today yeah, because I work in UN and environment sustainability, and also in the past 3 years I worked more on plastic recycling, and now I'm working as for this internet platform, digital platform on carbon reduction. But I think there is all linked, and also it gives the trends like why we should do circular economy, why should we more focus on green industry and green development, especially for China and also for SMEs in developing countries, to understand the future, and then what we could do for the in this background. So I mainly talk about first like the zero carbon strategy, the general global background, and then the second part will focus on circular economy, and then I will also the last part then the third part is on give the situation example of as an example like of plastic recycling in China, how China do this recycling sector, and then if there's more time, I would also introduce our current work on this digital carbon reduction platform based on individual behaviors, green behaviors. So I think course, the background is now by it's mainly we are all affected by COVID-19. That really separate the globalization. In the past few years, we have been talking about a lot about globalization, and also China is getting into the world factory to produce all sorts of the products. And now, like all these, mainly the top 500, all the most of their manufacturing supply chain are in China. So when COVID-19 occurred, this really brought the new discussion, like whether globalization is a good thing or not a bad thing. But we can see now some global companies has make their changes in their strategy to have more localize the center and also change their business, to develop more local business. And China also having this advantage in supply chain, and also because now the countries these it has some problem to for the for shipping, and then all the country will look at their more the atmosphere domestically and look for the business opportunities. But the common issue is for the all the global now, even there are many conflicts now happening, occurring between China, US, US this relationship, and the EU relationship. But the common topic is all is on climate governance and also climate change. So Paris Agreement is still the main target for China, EU, and the US. And US also is now back into this Paris Agreement. And China also as the largest greenhouse emission country, we have announced the target to reach carbon peak by 2030 and carbon neutral by 2060. And all these climate governance is a very typical scenario that it should be done globally, and non-country can do this by themselves. So we have to work together to tackle the climate change. So now the thing didn't change among all these chaos is the green and digital transformation to more low carbon and green technologies and the future. So now we see most technologies and these energy transfer are all focusing on these green development. So the first issue is still mainly the energy is the main aspect, is the first question, because also like in China, core mining is the primary energy of all these primary energy, which is almost 70 percentage. So for China, it's even more hard to reach these all renewable energy target as because the core is it's a dirty energy. We have less advantage compared with US and EU. Then that's take more hard time to really change these to transfer the energy transformation. And also now what we should focus is on these technologies. All these technologies in the future will focus on the technology that could decarbonize these decarbonized technologies will be the future for this research and development for carbon, like for carbon capture and these hydrogen energies. And also for supply chain, China is as we see it, like even US moved their some factories branding back to the US, but still the main suppliers are the factories are still in China. So China has the comprehensive, the whole supply chain in the world. and also there's also a lot of these emissions, carbon emissions in this supply chains. So it gives us like also other developing countries. We're mainly as the suppliers for these developed countries and also for these big companies. So we are facing more carbon reduction, and also we are facing how to meet these carbon zero carbon target raised by these big companies, and how we can change our management and operations in these main background. So here, like the example is, I use EU as the example for this policy orientation. EU is always taking the lead in climate change, and also they already have this circular economy action plan in 2015. So which already 6 years ago, 6 years ago. So EU has taken circular economy as a new business model to change from linear economy to circular economy. And then in 2018, EU announced their circular economy package, and also plastic is the first strategy in their circular economy package. So we can see that these because plastic is linked with all these upstream and downstream business, so it has a very a great link, big link with all the business and the people's these lifestyle. So that's also make EU will have plastic as the first circular economy strategy. And in 2019, EU also announced its Green Deal plan. This is also a very ambitious plan that EU will also reach carbon neutral by 2050, and it also announced all these action plans in different sectors, like in energy, agriculture, industry, and transportation and finance. This is all a very have a very comprehensive plan. Well, they have detailed action plan in all these areas. You can find this in the EU website. Even EU has done well in this zero carbon plan, but we could see that they have already, because the industry industrialization time start earlier in EU and US, so they have already reached the carbon peak already, and now they are getting into the stage to reduce carbon reduction. So we could see the decline of carbon reduction in industry, agriculture, and also energy sector, but still we see there's a still growing increase, these trends in transportation. So transportation is very unique sector, because it is a sector that this automobile you cannot really control the full life cycle of automobile after it's on road. It's mainly it was dominated by the user, by the driver. So the policy cannot really regulate the consumers behavior, and then it is also very much linked to the energy, to the fossil fuel, and also linked to the air pollution in the city. So EU also has this same problem like in all the country. Like now, automobile is a very important sector now because it has the most advanced technology in digitalization, in all these new technologies, satellite technologies and AI technologies, but still it's also very much linked to the carbon emission. So that make it very a specific goal to reach in the transportation. So in this EU's sustainable, they made a sustainable and smart mobility strategy and action plan. The plan has 82 initiatives to achieve its green and digital transformation and become more resilient to future crises, as this link to the air pollution, climate change, and the energy fossil fuel. So it is very comprehensive sector, can link to all these energy, environment, and technology issue. So and EU also announced it will cut 90% in emission by 2050, and also deliver a smart, competitive, safe, and accessible and affordable transportation system. So I think it said it will have all its vehicles to be electronic, to have these EV vehicles, then and also for the zero emission ships and also airplane. So they also already make this plan and ready for this transition. So now I'm going to the second part to see how we can reach these get this carbon zero carbon strategy, and what's the mainly how we can do this, the technology structure, how to do this. So even we have many problems now in globally, like in climate change, in the ecosystem and extreme weather, but we still see that it is a mission possible to reach to achieve a zero carbon future. And for these zero carbon future, it's mainly focused on these five main areas, from like mainly like in cities, mainly on these buildings, mobilities, transportation, and then it's on the goods and the services. And we still need these energy as the infrastructure and sustainable these ecosystem. So we can see like to reach these future is still possible. Like we should have these high quality energy efficient buildings, which now we are also working on these like more energy. The buildings will use less energy and also even produce more renewable energies, and also as these in the buildings, and also there's a lot of heating and cooling happening, and how have these to be like use these all these heating can be reused and recycled, and also for the transportation, as we said, to reach all these zero carbon these transportation and ships, and vehicles, and then we have these green clean technologies to have more solar energy and wind powers, and the hydrogen ecosystem will be further developed in the power sector, and also for the for the daily life, we should have all our food goods should be recycled, and there should be not be to reduce the waste, and also this circular economy. It's very important to reduce these carbon emission, which I will, because this landfill and incineration also has a lot of this carbon emission. I would talk about these later with from the goods aspect. And also most important is the nature ecosystem, how to because now the ecosystem not only provides the service function as food, as water, and also it has the carbon sequestration to absorb more carbon so now also this will be more important to have this in the carbon market, and also to help people, to help the sector, those in this agriculture and the forest sector to be more benefits from these carbon sequestration, to get more this carbon capital from this ecosystem. And for technologies, we have seen there are increasing technologies, many new technologies announced every day. So there's generally there are three types of these green technologies in circularity, efficiency, and also for this the blue one. The blue point is for clean energy provision, and then the green one are clean energy use. So we see the time for the maturity of this technology are at different stages. So on the right side, it's more matured, has been more applied, like for these mental recyclings, like for building energy efficiency, and for plastic recycling, mechanical plastic recycling, and we could see on the left side, like for chemical plastic recycling, or these CCS are still kind of in this very early stage. So then these the y-axis indicate their market shares. We see their contribution, like of this technology in the market. So we can see still these but like for EV vehicle, automobiles, and the renewable electricities, and also buildings are still have, and also these mental recyclings are still having these higher market share. So now these technologies also are in the new in this already in this diffusion stage, and in the new norm this stage. So if we doing these more investments in technologies, we can see this stage where how far is still from this market. So we could have more clear idea whether we should invest now, or we should do more on this application for this market, the application of these technologies. So for the whole zero carbon technology structure, it mainly focus on this energy efficiency, material efficiency, and service efficiency. So the core is still on to increase the efficiency. So for the industrial sector, it's still mainly to improve our energy efficiency. So we see here all these industrial sectors are here, like in automobile, in transportation, in shipping, aviation, or lightning, or these steel production of plastic. So which one should which sector has more potential to reduce carbon reduction? So we could see from this analysis, from this figure, we can see it's still in transportation and in building. They have a higher potential to increase energy efficiency, like from even from 30 to 45% in this transportation, and also like can reach like from 20 to 50 or 60 in this building and in appliance. So we still it is still suggested that we should more focus on in the city, especially in cities, as people's life are mainly in the buildings, in living at home, and then it's for going out is using all these transportation. So these two sectors, mobility and building, are the main the two sectors that we could see to reduce to increase more energy efficiency. And in the city, the third issue is on the waste reduction. So that's the another issue. The next issue we should look at is material efficiency. Um, Material efficiency is also um, very important. It can how we can think to increase the material efficiency, which really it can for those industry. It's for those industry that are hard to abate these sectors. We could think how to improve, how to cut their emissions. So it can be seen that it can cut these emissions from this sector by 40% by 2050, which is a big help, a number, like a big, a good target we should really focus. So for this material efficiency, the main work is still on this improved recycling to increase collection rate, and from the design side, and also how to do the waste sorting and reduce this contamination. That's really follow the like for plastic recycling, how we should do this. So if we can do this material, it can reduce 18% for this emission. And also we have focused we'll focus on the material to product efficiency, which then to have to reduce to produce less production waste, and also use a high strength material, and also to have lightweight weighting material, like in cars, which is lightweighting cars is also the trend for its higher speed, and also for the new material that could replace these metal materials. So totally together, these two parts can be up to 40% of these emission for the energy use. And the third is this product service efficiency, which we are more relevant to the service and to the mobility, as we now have more business like in e-commerce, especially in China now. E-commerce is very developed, and for all peoples, like for shopping, for food deliver, even for this to go to the pharmacy. Now we order everything now. It's from mobile phone. So this service efficiency becomes a very important part in the future. So we could see then we are also a new business model is also emerging, like in this logistic and operation efficiency, like in transportation. We already later I will mention there's a company in China. They do these services, vehicle services in transportation for logistic services, and they have got several rounds of um, uh, investment already. And also all these services, we should also look at how it can make the function more efficiency. The performance is very efficiency, as they also use a lot of digital technology as for the transportation, for the logistics. So they could really have the high efficiency well linked to their the standards of carbon reduction, and also these uh, materials, and also for these um, uh, uh, for this digitalization to trace to have all the data to be traceable for the goods where it goes. So there for these all these several aspects together, it will also reduce the energy use like to um, 30%, 30 percentage of all these energy use. Um, so that's the three main areas we're working on a lot. You either on to reduce to increase energy efficiency, and then for the products to material to increase material efficiency, and then to have these service efficiency. That's very much linked to now these zero carbon plans for the future. So when we do this carbon these zero carbon, like for energy efficiency, we could see now these the technology used is one leading uh, technology is electrification, uh, such as like for transportation, as an example. We could see, like if you we use these EV electronic vehicle, like this use a battery EV battery, it can reduce up to um, 73% percentage reduction compared with gasolines. And also, if we have these in the building sector for building heating, we can see now, like to improve this knowledge technology in a heat pump. We use a lot of these air source heat pump. Then this can reduce up to 87 percentage of all these energy. So it is very efficient to use electronic heat pump, very efficient. As also we see now this week, UK announced its zero carbon plan of the country, and it's mainly they raised in these to use these to reduce to use more these heating these to reduce heating in these buildings as their main solution to reduce carbon reduction for UK. So that's also this technology to have this heat pump as electronic heat pump will be more developed used. And also we could see that the price of with the technologies now before the EV vehicle is expensive because of the battery, but now the battery, the price has dropped a lot from $1,000 per kilowatts of storage, and now it's it just about like between 100. It's almost will be $100 per kilowatts of storage. So this also decreased the cost of the cars, and all the consumers can this becomes affordable for their for to have the spread of to have more increase of the car of the electronic vehicles in the country. And also China is also having more these EV vehicles, and also China has also the largest battery companies in the world. Like Ningde Shidai, it's now this new battery to provide for Tesla. Now its market value share has beyond the China petroleum company. So we could see now these new technologies companies increase very fast as the new giants now. We say as the unicorn giants that the new battery companies in China we already, and also EV vehicle companies are also we have in the top, several are in this top team in the world, and this is also a good opportunity for developing countries to really take these opportunities as climate change, to have more new technologies which we don't have much big gap compared with other traditional industries, and we could really catch up them um, faster than the other sectors. So China we now, like in several provinces and some cities, like in Anhui province, it has become the incubator of several new technologies, such as these batteries, and for all these automobiles, and also there are some, and also for some these power station, and the renewable energy, wind energy, solar energy. China has all these top companies now in these sectors. So we see there this China has many these battery companies growing, and also these energy as more renewable energies are applied. It also brought the problem to how this energy will be stored, as this renewable energy is different from the fossil fuel energy. They are discrete and not stable and not continuous. So this energy should be stored. So these new technologies in batteries and in energy storage are developing. So now we can see these all these solutions depends on their storage size, and also the discharge time for performance. We could see some batteries have good performance, well, for storage size, and also for the discharge time. So we expect them better to have longer to have a shorter uh, the discharge time, and then also have a bigger storage size. So now um, we use nowadays many like Tesla use China's in the era these companies uh, lithium ion battery. So this is it's in the middle of all these battery performance. Um, so that's how we when we look at the batteries, which one we should select. It depends on your local conditions and also the needs of the market, and also the feasibility of if you have there's any capacity in the country to have this production, having these to provide such new technologies. That's also very important. And also, like in EU countries, now EU also demands these these electronic batteries to provide all these carbon carbon footprints while they import it for all these batteries. So in the future, it is not only the carbon, it's not only the performance of this battery, but also the carbon footprint should be also be calculated, like how much carbon it will cost, and also like for Tesla, it has more like every year they got more subsidized from carbon market to have more the income. It's more than their income from selling cars. They got more income from a carbon market compared with their car sellings. So, but now the California state also raised their carbon performance. So they request the Tesla the credits, the carbon credits needs more short time that can drive longer distance. So the technology is also improving, and now there's a battery like for Tesla. They they if they cannot improve their battery performance, um, then to have better performance, then the carbon credits will also be reduced, and then they cannot get as much as income subsidized from carbon market as before. So all these very technologies are all very much linked to their technologies, and also the investment, and also the carbon market, and also will uh, have the impact on on these the total income for these automobile new automobile companies. And also now the digital technologies are also important, like for energy efficiency, especially from the end side, and also for system efficiency increase. Because now with all these digital technologies, it can prevent the efficiency loss, and also from the to enhance the monitoring, and also to improve the management of the energy sector, like this vehicle to grid, and also building heating management. This all should use all these digital internet technologies, so which are also all done by these new renewable energy technologies. There are also new energy. These new energy are developing, but now it's still on this emerging stage, like hydrogen and also CCUS, carbon capture, and also for biomass. Biomass is also because it's carbon character, so now it is being very much pay much attention by the sector to get into the biomass sector, as it can biomass can be applied in a very wide variety of applications, like for industry heating, for these thermal power supplies and transportations, and also now they use a lot of these biomass as also can be used for this carbon market. So there be more development in this biomass, and also biomass is also more accessible, like for developed countries, which it's not very not like other hydrogen or these other technologies. It's more feasible and more economic energy for us to use. So we're seeing this is a very good energy type that we should really focus to have more attention, pay more attention. So now we see there are many big companies has already taken their step to reach this carbon neutral target. Like for example, to have the impact on this supply chain. The most largest this retailer is Walmart. Walmart announced their project called Gigaton project, which they aim to reduce 1 gigaton by 2030. So even they also have a higher goal in China, another 25% increase of carbon reduction in China market. So like it has reached almost avoided 230 million tons or already in like last year. And then so they mainly they have 6 pillars to avoid all these carbon reduction. It's from their energy, from this waste management, and also from their packaging, and also product design and use, and also for the nature, like agriculture and the forest. They have made these commitments, and then they also request all their suppliers should meet these goals. So all the suppliers has to use their they provide Walmart give this account methodology for the suppliers. The suppliers will calculate their own carbon emissions based on these 6 pillars, and to also as those suppliers, they also have to make this commitment to reach this 1 gigaton. So if you could like for those suppliers who could have these good performance in this carbon reduction, then they it gives them the advantage to enter into the supply chain of Walmart. And another example is from transportation. It's a Chinese company called Di Shangti. Its name translated is means ground way, subway, like ground railway. Then they're the largest EV digital platform, which they have all these electronic vehicle EV vehicles, and they rented these vehicles to those logistic companies, and then so or even those companies who didn't need to really have their own fleets to do all these transportation services. They just rent their service, and then they paid for this transportation service to deliver from one side to the other side. So this company has already been invested several rounds by these virtual investment and the private PV investment, and also VP investment. And then their advantage is they save the cost for the logistic company, that they don't need to own their fleets, and then they don't need to pay for the maintenance of those vehicles. And also this company, it has the electronic digital electronic vehicle, and then this can we are also working with them to help them to calculate the carbon reduction caused by these vehicles, and then can be traded in the carbon market. So this can be their capital, carbon capital as their income. And then also they have a very good, they increase, like I said before, they increase the energy efficiency and the service efficiency of all these logistics. So they also have the digital technology, so they could demonstrate the service efficiency to their customers. So their customer will be also benefit from their service by this carbon reduction and by this high service performance. So they are having and they can link with upstream and downstream of all these supply chain by their logistics service. So they could also help to improve the performance of each part of this supply chain. So now their model has been replicated in Singapore and in other Southeast Asia countries. Like they provide such renting this vehicle service to the local customers. So this is a way to reduce the waste of to have all to buy your own cars or vehicles, and then as the asset, and then also you don't and also to reach their carbon reduction goals. So it has a multi benefits for this new business, new energy operation service platform, as they call themselves. So this is a kind of this circular economy model. Is this new business is emerging, following this circular economy principle, and we could see that this kind of business will growing in the future. The only thing is they have to invest a lot in the more for buying the vehicle themselves. So that needs a heavy investment of a vehicle for themselves. But for the long run, it will getting better, and also they are based in Shenzhen, and they have much also got the government support, policy support for these financial these helps. Yeah, and also we could see there are also grow more these international companies like having these life cycle thinking in buildings are also have all these better energy efficiency, material efficiency. Companies are developing very fast, and also these Velux, it's a company in Denmark, but now it already has its company in China, its office in China, and the factories in China to make these windows of these buildings. Um, so this windows is called is it will adjust the window by the angle by measuring the ventilation in the rooms, and it can adjust it automatically to change the temperature, and also then to save the energy of the building. This is also Velux is also the largest company in the world to produce manufacture these windows. Um, so we could see now they have this life cycle analysis of all their windows should be non-waste to meet the carbon neutral, and also their idea to have such a company to have such a window is because in Europe, for the survey, they found that the number one factor that people main concern is it's not food as the second factor, it's not smoking as the third, and also not the sport at the fourth sector. The first factor people think most important to affect the health, it's building, it's indoor environment. So it's very um, different what we think. Like people, when they think about health, they may think of to do more sports, but in fact, our living environment is the most important factor to affect our health. So window will be very important. Is a building material. Uh, then those who can really have the more carbon neutral window, and also this window can help to save the energy and help to adjust the temperature and the feeling of the people would be have the more future in this business model. And also we see also they're growing this company business model now, like in recycling is like interface. As we know, this is a carpet company. It's famous for its to make this block carpet piece by piece, and not the whole big carpet to save the material, and also it recycled carpet to carpet, like to recycle these nylon, then these fish net, which can be used to make these carpets. This is also like when we use PET bottles. We could also have all these PET bottles to be made for fibers and for carpet, and also for this packaging. So this is also the technology. Now we are having this a new business model that can use a material to material, a textile to textile, a carpet to carpet. This a new business as we are having seen these companies are a lot now, growing a lot now in China and in Europe. Um, okay, so I think I'm I think I'm getting in this first part. I don't know if anyone just have any questions, and then we have a like um 10 minutes break or questions. Then we I'll continue with the second part. Otherwise, I think it's be uh boring for colleagues to to listen or talking all the time. So any questions, or we have a break like 10 minutes. We come back at after 10 minutes. Is that okay? The chairman.
钱老师好，
嗯，
就是我们现在看一下有没有哪个来宾可以发一点有问题要问，然后我们休息10分钟。
yeah, yeah, yeah. If no questions, we have 10 minutes break and some drinks, and then we come back in 10 minutes.
好的。
Okay. Okay, we're back. So in this part three, no, part two, I will share this on this green supply chain. Yeah, this part, they're mainly it's mainly from this report done by World Economic Forum and the Boston Consulting Group of this the report of Net Zero Challenge, the supply chain opportunity. So we see that in supply chain, the emission from supply chain is a bit different from these from industry sector directly. It has mainly has three scope. Scope code scope 1, 2, 3, and scope 1 and 2 are the emissions from operations under facility and like for fuel combustion, and also scope 2 is for the emission from use of electricity, steam, heat, and cooling from the purchase from the third party, which is mainly the electricity, the electric bill. These are the direct emissions which we can see from the energy consumption, and also the fuel consumption, and then the electricity, the bill. And then we have this indirect emission called scope 3. It's scope 3 is divided into upstream and downstream scope, which upstream is for this company, your upstream emissions, and also downstream it's after the company deliver this service or good to the downstream. For upstream, emissions are from these procured products, transportation of supplies, and business travel. And then for the downstream of these emission are from these, also from except those transportation, and also use of sold products, and also it also include the product disposal. So it's linked with the waste treatment of these of the product. That's the whole life cycle. So which has this scope 1, 2, 3. So we see now for those companies are not really those heavy industry sectors. We these emissions split in scopes 1 to 3. These we can see, like for those raw materials, in these raw materials, these scope 3 the percentage of scope 3, it's not very much like for cement, for steel sector, but it's already reached to 60%, like in textile and chemicals. And for those consumption, these faster consumed goods companies like these end products, these scope 3 emissions in supply chain, it's very high, reach from this almost around 80% of all their emissions, especially like for food, fashion, and the FMCG. Yeah, these fast moving these consumed goods. So we see for most company, especially for those big branding companies now, like for Nestle, they have announced their zero carbon targets. So this would be very much linked to their indirect emissions of their supply chain, which will also very much depends on the suppliers, those SMEs who are the suppliers of these branding companies. So we should pay much more efforts on these reducing these carbon, the scope 3 emissions. And from this CDP, this carbon disposal project report, we see that their analysis have seen that have indicated that like for upstream emissions, these scope 3 emissions are on average more than 11 times higher than the operation emissions. So especially for those retail sectors, apparel and services, food, beverage, agriculture, all these sectors very highly depends on those supply chains. So for the big companies, and now even these indirect emissions in scope 3 is not included in the, like in China, it's not included in the carbon market now as a compliance, but as these brand companies already announced their near zero carbon emission commitment or action plan, then all these suppliers will really have to they already feel this pressure, and now they are all working hard to reach these goals. Well, otherwise they cannot meet these their customers' demands, and then they may lose their orders. So that's also from the business aspect when we look at why we should do this do the supply chain, growing supply chain. And also we see now there's these there are 8 levels of different technologies, like from carbon capture from carbon capture, fuel switch, nature-based solution, and also like renewable heating power, material efficiency, and circularity and or recycling. We see that these 8 levels could abate these reduce supply chain emissions, but still this circularity and recycling ranked the top, the first, as it has the lowest average cost for carbon emission as per ton of CO2 equivalent. It's less than, the cost is less than 10 euros. And if you use a carbon neutral, this carbon capture technology, it can be more than 100 euro per ton. So that this the cost is very significant. Then for the supply chain, to use more these circularity technologies for recycling technologies, and also the maturity of circularity and circular economy, it's also the most matured technologies. So the other technologies are still not so well developed, or some even are in this early stage. So we can see really we should have more recycling technologies, more circular economy should be developed. But there are also some challenges for circular economy to be applied. Of course, circular economy it's a more cross-cutting issue, and it has all these supply chain, has all these upstream and downstream these different stakeholder and players. So it's been more difficult to align with all these players, stakeholders, to be in a circle, to be in a closed loop. That's the systematic challenge is more difficult for these for having these circularity technology. If we want now, it's not only in the supply chain, and for the end of the supply chain, it will be the product. Now also the EU and countries asking to provide the carbon footprint of their products. So now they are already for the carbon footprint. Now it's also for the product level. It's also increasing like Carbon Trust. It's the UK company that they have these pass 2050. It's already being widely used as for carbon footprint calculation, and also for ISO standards. It's for is one 14,067. These ISO standards are also the two standards are mainly used to calculate the product carbon footprint. These the product carbon footprint is not only from from all the life cycle from cradle to cradle. Now it is it's also include like from the cradle to the gate, like which to the manufacturer to this manufacturer of this to the product will reach at the end of the factory to the factory gate, and also it includes this consumption, its use stage, and then later on this disposal or recycling stage of these final products. So now these the whole life cycle of this product will be included well when we make this carbon footprint of the product. So the data will be more important to get well when we collect this for later stage. So now we talk about why should we think use a circular economy. Circular economy, we see now like this global greenhouse emission about 55% is from energy. So which means even we use all these energies are clean and renewable, but we still have 45% of emissions can produced. These 45% are from products. So this is still there are lots of emissions from these materials and food and the products. So this is why we should use still need to have more these closed loop to circular economy to have all these material to reuse although those materials such as food, these cement, plastic, and steel. And then for all these 45 percentage, these for this emission reduction in 2050 would be half from these from this circular economy, and then the energy part will be more on these technologies I introduced in the first part. So for circular economy, the principle is still we remember 3R. It's reduce, reuse, and recycle. Uh, so this is not as easy as we think. Reduce is now we should use less. We should produce less waste, and also we should from design part we should design these all these products to be recyclable and more easy to recycle. So we from the early stage, we should design out those waste and the pollution to reduce these greenhouse emissions. And reuse is also to have these products to use several longer to prolong its duration of usage. So keep these products and the material in use. So to retain the embodied energy in product and material. That's the second uh, um, way. And the third way is to recycle. Recycle is then to regenerate this nature system to have this carbon to be captured in soil or reused in the products. Um, so we still remember, we always should remember these 3R while applying circular economy. So we see now like there's a difference like from developed countries like G7, G7 countries and developing countries and China and India. Uh, we see like for these life cycle emissions for the developed countries, they have more emissions from operational energy use. Uh, and, and and also in China and India, the emission like from material recycling and also from the emission from operation use energy use are more or less a half and half. Uh, so which means we developing countries, we still have more material floor running, and so we should have a much more potential to have to use the circular economy as can we can use reduce these 60% life cycle emissions through material efficiency strategy as a these people in the developing countries will still relies on these more material products and the services than compare with those developed countries. So now when we can have these elements of circular economy when we look at from the beginning. It includes all the elements while recycling for business model and for like for energy. From the beginning, when we start the production, when we use resources, we should apply more renewable energy uh, to have these to instead of fossil fuels, and also these more nature capital like forest and these nature resources biomass should be also used as the, the energy inputs. And then for the production now, as the example used in the first part, now there's these new revenue models are emerging. So those companies uh, who produce manufacture these products, they just leasing these products to the user. So So the users will only paying for the for the service, and they don't really need to have this ownership of these products. So this there are more companies now using such a model to make this new business model. And also for the production now, it will ask like those branding companies also working on this product design um, to make the whole packaging of this plastic more recyclable and more designed, or to use like single material packaging instead of a multi-layer to reduce the further waste into disposal and landfill. And also now, like they have more these supply chain collaboration. As I have this example, like this EV vehicle renting company. They can provide service for whole the supply chain and to have a new operation model between different companies. Then now they also have, after the use, then there's more different recycling closed loop, like from the production from the factory and back to the production, and also from the user side back to the factory, or directly from the user side through recycling back to the very early stage. So this will, for all these closing loop, we need to have a business model to have this loop to be closed. That needs the high value reuse and recycling model. Otherwise, if we don't have such a business profits, then this loop will not be closed. So now this picture is from Alan MacArthur Foundation. We see the traditional, the left part is for biofuel renewables. The right part is for the like for the fossil fuels stock management. We could see like now the traditional production way. The traditional production is from the material, and then to be manufactured, and then sold to the consumer or the user, and then disposed as a linear model. And now these for circular economy, all these material will be returned back to the uh, to the circle. Then they have different small circles or big circles. Then should become these income circular economy. So from these users, these consumers will be a very important key role in this circular economy. Before, these consumers were not included in this circular economy. All the manufacturer only think about production and then sell to the consumers, and that's the end. All the later on end of life stage will leave to the city or to the government. So the business are not in this uh, are not in this waste management stage. And now we see that for circular economy, the consumers will need to return or to share their material by sharing this, like by sharing cars or by sharing these resources, washing machines, to increase the material efficiency. And then if they want to involve the service provider in it, then they should have these reuse or redistribution business model. And then um, also, like if we want to have this product manufactured in the loop, we should have this remanufacturing model. So the longest loop is recycling from users and then return back to the manufacturer, which is the longest and also become more difficult. The shorter, the easier. So we should always have the consumers to share their resources, the schools first, and then if we cannot really have these material efficient to be used, and then finally we have to return to the manufacturer. Then this the whole chain will be longer. Then there'll be more cost and be more systematic work, and more policy should be involved in this setup of this closed loop. And also, meanwhile, we can see that this biomass can also be like for food waste, and all these waste um, can be also much be recycled or reused to extract as biogas, or this as the 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 feedstock to be reused, as this is part is more for the nature carbon recycle. So this is very typical closed loop of all this circular economy, and we use this um, figure as the principle for will explain this why should we have the consumers to be involved, and or what the business are, what their type and what their relations. Well, we have different business of this business model of this circular economy. And also when we think of the investment cost benefit, then we see it's already like if we have this for all these material recycling, like from plastic, cars, and steel, and aluminum. We see that if we have, they all can have much more reduction of carbon reduction, and also the cost of this reduction is can also, you can gain more income by this recycling, which especially there be much higher benefits, like for car recycling, and also for plastic recycling. And also for these like we have this circular economy as a recycle, reduce, reuse, and recycle for these several for these three methods. We see like different materials have different these parts can reach, all these reduction can reach 40% of these global this greenhouse reduction, and this steel contributes a lot, and also plastic can also, this now the current the plastic production even not very as 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 high as steel and cement, but we can see all this they contribute the plastic recycling contribution can be a lot, while having all these three 3R are reused, are applied. We can see there's would be a significant of plastic reduction. Well, we compare the bars in plastic, and also in this steel. So now for the product, before we talk about carbon footprint, So when we have the label, when we want to demonstrate that we are using less carbon emission products or use a more recycled products or use to have already achieved the carbon neutral um, label is a very good way to link business with its consumers. The consumers will have a much clear idea of what this product is about and what when they buy the products, and they also can have their contribution to the carbon reduction. So now also there are different types of carbon labeling, like they have this kind of reducing uh, reducing CO2, which is to demonstrate how much carbon have been reduced, like using recycling compare with before the virgin, like for the virgin products. And also the second type is CO2 measured is it's just the footprint, like how much carbon emission has been made of this product, but it didn't need the to make any commitment of the product. It just indicates how much carbon emission it has. And also their third type is these are carbon neutral labeling. So this label, it will demonstrate that you have taken the measures to offset the carbon emissions of your project. And then this indicates your support and input for the environment sustainability. So when we look at this mitigation with carbon market, we see now as the later the consumption stage and also the disposal stage are not much addressed as manufacturing stage. So so now it also includes, now the whole life cycle also includes from the waste management and also the measures that either reduce or reuse or recycle, and also any other alternative material has been used to replace these like single-use plastic. So far, there's also still not all these methodologies or how we can measure these carbons has been developed, or the carbon market has not been much developed for those for these circular economy. But for the supply chain, this carbon reduction it's needed to be calculated as from the recycling sector, from the waste disposal sector. Then they could link with the products or branding companies as their contribution to their zero carbon commitment or goals. So the also help this recycling sector to enter into the supply chain of these branding companies, which they have the advantage of those carbon reduction to help the branding companies to reach their carbon neutral target. So here there are also some technical work are needed down here, like having some certain these group standards should be developed to have these standardized methodology for these new issues. And also for carbon measures, we should have these third party certification from the third party agencies. The business themselves cannot really issue this carbon neutral certificate by themselves. So all these will need the fundamental uniform standard data accounting for carbon emission. Every company can calculate their own emissions, but if we want to really link with the carbon market or this national accounting system, then all these the standard methodologies or standard data are needed. So this is not it's more a different system of carbon emission counting and then the carbon market compare with this supply chain. Even they are linked, but they should have a different work, different areas of work. So now I'll also give the brief as introduction of the value chain of China plastic as because China is also the largest country in the world of plastic production and um, consumption, and also we have the largest plastic recycling sector in the world, and also China, the sector also has all over the world, especially in Southeast Asia, has many companies and the business also in Europe and in Japan to recycling these plastic and also use the these and use of these single-use plastic. So China is the country as the largest country. China banned the imported waste plastic in 2018. Then that's really brought the whole global waste plastic trade changed dramatically. So also after that, China issued several policies to ban the single-use plastic. And also this is also because under the background of global single-use plastic is pollution and also the marine plastic issue, like led by UNEP and the EU. So the government also issue the documents to ban these plastic non-degradable plastic bags or these super thin plastic bags, and also we issued the NDRC National Development Reform Commission issued these single-use plastic inventory to see how to, and also issue the standard measures of this banning management. So the policies are beginning was really more on banning and restriction, but also for plastic recycling, the policy also there are also some policies encouraging plastic recycling. In China, it's mainly in the Ministry of Commerce and also Ministry of Information Technology and Industry, MIT. So now these several ministries all issued these recyclable resources, these management regulations, and also the main ministry for like housing and the rural area is a ministry. It has this in charge of this municipal waste management, which this sorting system is issued by the ministry. But the sorting system of the municipal waste management is only started in 2018. So China before we don't have really implemented waste sorting system. So that's also get it very why China imported the waste plastic from abroad, because Europe and US, they already has the waste sorting system. So their waste plastic, it's having good, better quality, and then they don't need to, this country, they don't need to treat the recycled plastic by themselves. They just sell it as a very cheap price to China to do all these cleaning, recycling, and China use these as the material like for PET bottles, like for fibers, um, and also some these mainly it's those low value added recycled products. So before it was also very strict system of this plastic. So the 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 recycling system of plastic recycling system in China didn't really get involved into the national domestic recycling. Um, so when China banned these uh, imported waste plastic, now so it has a very fundamental change for China plastic sector. Then they have to look at the domestic waste system to get all those plastic bottles or those other uh, recyclable resources. So they have to build up their own recovery system. And also government has more regulation, environment regulation on these family size factories, and also more regulations on wastewater treatment, VOC, and also those informal these scavengers, waste picker. Um, it's gradually has been phased out in the city. So now the city has more managed vendors to collect the waste through the contract, subcontract from the government. Um, so now these also all these factors increase the cost of plastic recycling. So this then the cost increase, and um, so now the sector really has to look at how to make the benefits from this recycling, plastic recycling. Then that's why we also developing these high value added recycled products. But this is not the driving forces. It's not only from these because of this increase of cost, but also those branding companies are also um, join this recycling work as their global commitment in plastic zero is 100% recyclable, or 20, 30 percent of their product use recycled plastic. All their commitment also brought these branding companies looking for these recycled products. But these branding companies, they have more higher requirements of these plastic, recycled plastic, and also they are for their supply chain, they have all more like due diligence regulations, which our recycling sector was mainly SMEs, and they were not have such experience to see how to enter these supply chain of these branding companies, and uh, how to meet these high value added these high value recycled products. These are all new for the Chinese recycling sector. So our this recycling sector also um, changed several times. We see some companies were now from these family size now to this much media size with all these these machine automatic more automatic machines, and more high educated research or investment in R&D. So in China, in fact, even there was no waste sorting system in law. Just to, in 2019, this waste sorting is included in the solid waste law. But in fact, this recyclable resource is always there, well paralyzed with this household waste network. But this collection system was not so very high efficient. Like we said, material efficiency was not very high, and those people was only those cheaper price, cheap labor, so they don't have much good manufacturing capacity and no good these standards of the quality of these production recycling. So far, China has developed these many these machines like in waste manual in this machine sorting, like in this filling station, they have all these machine sorting. But for the very beginning, this front side, as these waste are mixed, so it still needs some labels like and also because the design, the problem, or like we say, certainly come at the design part, those are very hard to separate. So they still need a lot of labor work, like to do this labor this sorting work, like for doing these fish net sorting, and these from textile clothes. These materials, the machine cannot identify by the colors, so they still have to use this old lady who experienced in this material to sort this textile, and also the label for these films, plastic films. They still need labels to put them into the machine. But we see there's a very big potential where we do the waste sorting, as we found like in the mega city in China, Great Bay Area, there's about 50% of the waste are kitchen waste, so the food waste. So if we really have a very good sorting on food waste and the plastic, we can really have much reduction of these waste, and also use food waste into the biomass, and then these plastic waste like around 20% to recycle, to be more resourceful, recyclable. And the bigger city, the higher percentage of these plastic waste. Now in some cities, now this plastic percentage has could even reach like 30% percentage of all the waste. So plastic sorting is even it's not a very high value material, but it really, because it's much linked to the fossil fuel upstream, is very linked to the fossil fuel sectors and used widely. So it is still a very contribute significantly to the carbon reduction and the material efficiency. So we could also see now this rural consumption is also increasing. Even China has still urban population is it's dominant. Like this, among these 1.4 billion population, these more than 800 million are in the urban area. So now the waste treatment are covered almost 100% in urban area. But in the rural area, this waste problem is also increasing. Even it's now the waste consumption is about half of the urban people, but still we see that this is trend is growing, and we should also see the difference between regional difference among big cities and the urban area and the rural area, and focus to reduce those plastic waste in rural area. But in these 20, 30 years of like these 20 years of plastic waste, plastic imported waste plastic from abroad, but then also China developed its own manufacturing sector of recycled these machine equipments and processing technologies. China now we have the largest, also the largest manufacturing plastic recycling manufacturing sector in the world. These machine equipments are all exported to almost every country. Many countries, more than 100 something, 100 countries in the world, like to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, like for sorting, for pelleting, and also for these cleaning, washing. Now they have, and China, this sector, it's mainly for the, even for the top level technology are still in Europe, like in Austria and Italy, but for the media and the lower end part of this market are dominated by China. So as this country now has to deal with their own waste and the plastic, so now they all need those machines. Also, like EU will increase their treatment capacity like 4 times. So they're also growing machine manufacturing field for recycling. So as China equipment is not so advanced like European, but it's cheaper, and also because China has no waste sorting system before, so these machines are more compatible, like when to deal with the waste, and also cost benefit efficient. So also China now we have many recycle companies or new material companies. They are having also developed this recycled products from plastic to be more. Now many are exported to EU market, like these outdoors chairs and tables. These are made of HDPE. These are milk bottles, and also like these wood plastic floor, which they use PP polypropylenes to be mixed with wood powder, which can also be no glue and are needed in this floor, and can be used a longer time for outdoor flooring in the parks, in the public space. And also like for these nets, fish nets, and these sports nets, these are made of PET bottle, the cap, which is the cap of PET bottles are PP or PE. In China, in Shandong province, there's a big village town. Or the whole town are making these nets used of those PET bottle cap. So they have been exported all over the world, and also for these cap are also nets are used for fishery and many applications because also during COVID-19 the people has more outdoor sports, and also it also has more demands orders from US, like for these sports facilities. So and now also UN, UNICEF, and also another UN agency is also paying more attention, like these how to have these waste plastic to be more used to have these to be more recycled, high value recycled products, and how to introduce these Chinese experience, and like these manufacturing or these recycled products can be replicated in other developing countries. So we are also seeing like those manufacturing capacity can be introduced, and also we see like these textile these waste textile can be also be recycled. I think there are also many in some countries, there are also lots of waste textile, but these textile are still not from the not uh, from the consumer side. It's still from the factory side, as the material is more pure and easy to recycle. But still, there is a lot of waste in textile can be done with those technology. So we think this is could also be a good way for China to work with other developing countries to help to reduce these waste problem, and also to help to have on these environment friendly this work. And then finally, I will just have like a part on what I'm doing now. As we see we see now all these issues like in energy efficiency and also on circular economy. So we are thinking of how to have a systematic solution which we can solve this problem. Um, we see like circular economy is mainly linked with people's life with consumption side. So we also see that now the total consumption um, side, the emission is more than 50% of all these consumption. Uh, but this part of consumption is not included yet in the national carbon market, and also it's pain points for policies which cannot be controlled much on personal behavior, and also very scattered, and with much measure and very much scenarios compared with industry, with different like in different clothing, food, and these consumption scenarios are so many, and so we cannot really trace and cannot really help how to reduce the consumption side to have higher energy material efficiency, energy efficiency, and service efficiency. So we're thinking like whether we develop individual based this model standards, so we can cover individual from individual behavior. We can cover this scenario, and to put a human as the core, human needs as the core. And if we can change their behavior, and then through their behavior to be more green, and then we can have this new green like ecosystem, and then have the impact on this supply side. And also we know now we should all have this consumption more measurable. If we want to be we if we want it to be measurable, we should have it to be digitalized. So digitalized is also another digital economy is another priority in like for economic. So we use like big data, blockchain, which are all fit the consumption side feature, which we can to make all these data traceable and to be quantified. And the third, we want to have all these data standards to be standardized. Why should we need to be standardized all these behavior? So if we have all these carbon reduction data, then we need to set up a market, carbon market. We call carbon inclusive market to help people to trade, also to have this reduction to be traded. So that's if we want to have something to be traded, then this has to be standard. Use the same standards. Then we can trade. So that's the three goals we have to match. Then we have this idea to have this model we call a new 2C protocol, to consumer protocol. We call green inclusive. Inclusive is it's for everyone, and the green is for low carbon. So this 2C protocol is a new protocol which government only mainly control the to business protocol, while all the industries will follow the already the methodologies and the carbon reduction market, carbon market as government defined already has such protocol. But for consumer this side, there's no such a protocol. So we as the largest environment NGO in China, and we work with the ministry. And we work with the ministry to develop this individual behavior, green behavior standards, which we measure their different behaviors at different scenario, like shopping, eating, cooking, housing, transportation, mobility. Then we have these scientific based standards. Then all these individual behavior will, as China, we have already had lots of these e-commerce and mobile applications in mobile phone, so people can usually use those app to have to record their behaviors. Then those scenario with the carbon reduction behavior will be recorded in our called green inclusive cloud or this green inclusive protocol. Then we created this carbon account book for each individual. So if you have any behaviors occurred in any application, then this carbon you can create such a record in your carbon account book. So in China, we also trying to develop this closed loop, like for individual this side on this left side, we covered all these individual behaviors. We calculated their behavior, which are green from different these apps, like for carpooling, these food ordering, online shopping, food delivering, and all these individual if they have ordered some made some green actions, then these our clouds will have their record then in it. And then on the right side, all those companies, business who have produced such a scenario will also make their a book, carbon account book for these companies. So meanwhile, so these all will be recorded in different account books by individual and also on the enterprise book. And then finally, these individual and the business in will formulate in different cities. The cities will have their carbon account book, like in Beijing, in Shanghai, in Guangzhou, in different cities. Different city will have their own account book. And finally, all these account book will be compiled as a national account book. So for this case, this single individual behavior will be recorded in this green inclusive cloud without any replication. This methodology will exclude this replication by different applications, by different business, and also these business they don't have the need to have their own system to carbon system to calculate their own reduction, as this is more carbon accounting is a third party work. Usually need this special technology knowledge and capacity. So there's no need for such a waste to do for each company to do this extra cost on this carbon accounting. And also it provides the city, also the policy makers, a very clear idea on what's going on of this city, and then have different policies for them, solutions for them. So in the future, we see that like for us, every one of us, we record our behaviors, activities in each mobile this app. Each app enterprise will have those record of like how many carbon reduced. But through our these green inclusive clouds, we can compile all these based on the individual behavior, on his own behavior, so he could have a clear idea of how much energy, how much carbon reduction reduced from his or her transportation, in housing, or in clothing, or in food. So all these will be all his her behavior will be characterized into different sectors like transportation, housing, and then all these data will be aligned with the national carbon accounting system. So this make it possible for all the individual to be for future we enter into the carbon market. and to make all his credits to be tradable. Otherwise, if it's still in each app, then it can never ever be traded. Also, for enterprise, we are also having this like for we just launched this green inclusive clouds 3 months. So far we already start this scenario in bicycling, in trucks, in lorries, and in these renting EV vehicle in logistics. So this enterprise will we make us SaaS service as software as service this SaaS system application. So in our computer center we could see the like for this company how many users has been participate in this carbon reduction, and how much and the frequency daily like daily how many has been done, how much the frequency of these behaviors, and then the total amount of carbon reduction that has been done. So for the enterprise themselves, they don't need to know these data, but they can just to indicate how much of total carbon reduction they have done, they have made by their work. And then the users, they can also provide the gifts and this bonus for the users to exchange as the incentive for their green behaviors. And also for the city or for the event, we also could have these outcomes for different events, like for Winter Olympic Game. Soon will be held in Beijing next February. So all these citizens who participate in these low carbon for Winter Olympics, low carbon life for Winter Olympic Games, can join these app with all these business partners like Coca-Cola or like some these Olympic partners we are working with then to record their behaviors, and then we can also provide like how much carbon reduction has been reduced while people help to for Winter Olympic Games. And then for different cities like other cities like Luzhou city in Sichuan, and we also have this similar mini program run by the government to help them to record those green behaviors. And also we are replicating this model to the other cities now. So in this for our work, our main idea is we don't need to have many platform, and we just have one platform. We can reach all from individual, for enterprise, and for government. So everyone can see what they're doing, how well they're doing, or where what's going on dynamically, monthly or daily. Then they can see how to improve their behaviors. If they're doing well in certain aspect or they're not doing well, they can see which direction they should improve. So now we already have not many but a few scenarios, like in transportation and in some cycling. We already have a few like 140,000 users, and in the 2 months, 3 months have reduced 3,000 tons of CO2. So I think from this we are just starting this work from the beginning to first have the fundamental standards protocol to be developed, and then work with the government enterprises to have all this business together. We provide the fundamental method calculation, and the business will have their green alliance, like to provide incentive and to have more these green products. So future, then then this consumption side will also have this inclusive carbon market. This will be the trends for the next in the next 2 or 3 years, we hope. Then all the individuals and the enterprises to encourage who have those green credits, carbon credits, can make more benefits, can make more income through while doing the green lifestyle. I think this is also very meaningful for developing countries, for those like vulnerable people, community, who already having such a good green lifestyle, but they don't really get any feedback or any encourage or any incentive to really pay back for having these green behaviors. So we through our system we can really record and calculate their credits, and then this can be used as a kind of cash or credits for them. We will also hoping, we're talking also with the UNFCCC because different region and different country has different carbon reduction cost. If this system can be digitalized, can be replicated, and for those developing countries has more nature capital, has more green lifestyle, the cost for carbon reduction is cheaper, then they really can do more carbon trading with country A to country B. Then those can also help our developing country to gain more financing investment in such a carbon trade market. I think that's also what UN wants to have. This really can help to improve the people's life, and also to meet the people's needs, and really to bring the impact to our ecosystem, and to our this green system. We're not really what we are doing to have all these green technologies. It's not only the technology, but really the impact that these technologies brought to the ecosystem, and then that's what the impact of this ecosystem change to the human health, and to the global the Earth, the planet health. That's what the main focus of this work. So in the future, yeah, we hope that really we hope that by doing green, and we can really having more benefits, like to have more as a carbon finance market will also be developed for those people. You can also make money by doing more green things, not only by making money, but can making a green life. We can also make a green a lot of money, and also to help them to policies, and also to help country to reach these carbon neutral target. I think this is we cannot solve all the problems, but I think if we can really solve 10% or like we say we are focusing on 50% of this problem, then that's already a lot for us. It's already quite meaningful for us. So we are having a list of partners, and we hope we have a longer list. Now we sure we must have a longer list of all these partners together. We cannot do this work alone. And also, I think for China, it's the same thing. China cannot do these things alone by itself. Also, we need to work together and really to move things forward. And also, I think this 2C business model can also be applied like to B business, like what we're doing on supply chain to make all these data valuable, traceable, measurable, and traceable. But these also need to focus on certain sector, uh, like plastic recycling or certain thing. And then still lots of work like on different standards, and but there's still a lot of work should be done like on policy coordination. Still a lot of challenges, but I think we are just making the first movement, and um, we are working towards that way, and we just make sure that we are on the right track, and we could finally to go there, and to get this a better life for everyone. Um, I think that's what I shared today, uh, and uh, I don't
蒋老师，现在给结束了吗？
是的。
哦，那 if any guests have question for this seminar, please ask question now and unmute yourself. 那老师，如果没有学员要提问的话，这个课程就结束了。
Okay. I hope everyone enjoys my blah blah long talking, and hope you have a nice online this experience. Hope one day we'll come to China again, and we really have a more experience well around in China. Thank you.
Thank you too. And thank you to participants. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
6点钟还有一个6点钟有一个 online visit。
Oh, see you 6 p.m. And we'll see you later. 1 hour later.
.在那个聊天框里打一下。
Welcome back. Next, we will visit West Lake online. It is a famous landscape in China. Also, it's closely related to green economy. And here we start. To all participants, today's class has been closed, has been over. Thank you for being here with us, and see you tomorrow.